Today, I'm taking my outdoor pizza party and bringing it indoors. I'll be making a roasted broccoli pizza with tomato butter and olives, and a classic chopped salad. Now that fall and rain have arrived in the Pacific Northwest, this is my first time making pizza indoors using a baking steel in my oven. After a long summer using my propane-fired outdoor uni pizza oven. The oven in my kitchen tops out at 550 degrees Fahrenheit, or even less if you are to believe the oven thermometer that I bought. Whereas the uni gets above 900 degrees Fahrenheit, giving you very different results. This will be my first week testing out those results firsthand, and I'll be sharing them with you today after I walk through the whole cooking process along with you. As usual, both recipes are from Pizza Night by Stafford, which I am attempting to cook my way through. Hopefully, this video series inspires you to start or continue your own pizza making journey, or simply inspires you to pick up a cookbook off of your own shelf. And with that, it's time to get in depth. Hi, I'm Maddie Burton. I write a newsletter called On the Cusp, where I first wrote about my goal to cook my way through this cookbook. I'm documenting that project here. You can follow along by subscribing to my newsletter or on YouTube. I mentioned last week that I've been experimenting with baking baguettes with my leftover pizza dough. It's been really fun. Without that much effort on my part, I've been able to make baguettes with an open, airy crumb that honestly I would have been happy to buy in a bakery. Those successful experiments have actually inspired me to try my first loaf of sourdough bread this week using Allie's recipe, which I will link to below. That dough is actually in the fridge right now after being shaped. It will hang out for a long cold proof and I will bake it off tomorrow morning. I'm really excited to see the results. And I'm sure before too long, I will be trying sourdough pizza dough as well. So far, one of the most fun and unexpected parts of this whole journey has actually been the tangentially related projects like bread baking that I've been inspired to follow up on as a result of making these pizza and salad recipe pairings each week. For this week's recipes, I'm really excited to make the tomato butter that serves as the base for the roasted broccoli pizza. But as always, before I jump into prepping for and showing you the results of this week's recipes, let me show you the receipts. Because in addition to showing you what it's like to actually make these recipes, I also like to talk about what it all cost. This week, the ingredients for both recipes cost about $43. I'm making 2 pizzas plus the full salad recipe, which serves 4, so that'll leave plenty of leftovers. And that's in line with what I've been spending these last few weeks. I did opt to leave the salami out of the salad, and I chose a cheaper provolone cheese, both of which kept the cost down a little bit as well. The grocery list was a tad longer than in previous weeks, but still totally manageable. All right, so here's what I'm going to be tackling on the salad front. For the classic chopped salad, unsurprisingly, I will be chopping up a lot of vegetables, and I'll be combining them with chickpeas, provolone, Italian dressing, and Kalamata olives. It's a nice assortment of veggies including romaine, red onion, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, and red bell pepper. All right, with that, let's dive in. With the salad prepared, it's time to tackle the roasted broccoli pizza with tomato butter and olives. Here's what I'll be doing. First, I'll proof the dough at room temperature for a couple of hours. I'll chop the broccoli into tiny pieces, toss with olive oil and salt, and roast it. I'll make the tomato butter by doing the same thing with cherry tomatoes and onion, then blitzing it all in the food processor with butter and some water. After chopping the olives, I'll stretch out the pizza dough and get out a sheet of parchment paper to start assembling everything. The parchment is going to go directly onto the baking steel, so I'm curious to see how that works. All right, guys, let's cook. So the chopped salad was solid all around, super fresh with a really interesting combination of flavors. I pulled back on the red onion in the salad because I thought it would be too much, but actually I think it could have benefited from the full amount of bite, so I would add in that whole amount next time. And as I mentioned earlier, I left out the salami, but I think it would have been wonderful here for sure. As for the pizza, I don't even like olives, but the combination of buttery tomatoes, broccoli, and salty olives was a flavor trifecta. On its own, the tomato butter was even more tasty. So if I have any complaints about the pizza, it's only that the tomato butter was competing with other flavors. If you've ever made Marcella Hazan's tomato sauce with butter and onion, it's basically like a thicker version of that. And I will definitely be eating the leftovers on all of the baguettes and sourdough bowls that I'm making. So far, I've loved how this book has taught me techniques that I will use beyond the pizza realm, like this tomato butter and also whipped ricotta from week 1. Next time, I'd probably use an extra tablespoon of oil to roast the broccoli because that dried out a little bit. I'm certainly guilty of over-oiling roasted vegetables, but I think this one could have used it. Now for my thoughts on the baking steel. It did make for the best indoor pizza I've ever made, which is saying a lot. I also made Allie's indoor-specific pizza dough recipe, which is a higher hydration dough than the outdoor version, which helps it from drying out in the oven. The only downside is that this higher hydration dough is a little bit harder to handle. In the recipe, Allie suggests a range of between 425 and 450 grams of water for this indoor version. I started at the lower end of that range just for manageability. The dough was wet and delicate enough that I'm really glad I started at this lower end, but I think I would like to try increasing that next time. And it was really great. All things considered though, I'm definitely spoiled by my Uni outdoor pizza oven. Unfortunately, it's just no contest. The results are just better outside. But that's okay, it's just another reason to look forward to the warm, sunny weather next spring. All right, that's it for this week. Next time, I will be back with even more pizza and salad to share with you. In the meantime, I hope you try this recipe at home. If you do, please hop into the comments and let me know how it goes for you. I would love to hear.